Hello, Ashley Week here from Rent to Rent Mentoring, and today I'm going to talk to you about how you could be making 10k a month in rent to rent. So the question is, are people really making 10k a month in rent to rent? And I'm going to be very honest with you. You've seen all the videos, you've seen all the people. The answer is really simple. Yes, there are people out there, myself included, as well as other students that are making 10k a month using rent to rent. Now the question is, how are those people able to make 10k a month, and how can you start earning 10k a month? And that is what we're going to go through today. First things first, it is not easy getting to that level. It is going to take hard work, determination, and that comes down to you. So don't think you're going to get an Airbnb, start making 10k a month, and you're going to be a millionaire overnight. Going on holidays, drinking champagne, living your best life. Doesn't really go that way. There's going to have to be some time and effort that you're going to have to put into this. More importantly, education. And I'm going to be real with you again. These webinars that we give you is designed to give you enough information so you have a good understanding of how to get to that level. But if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, you're going to have to do more, because it's important. Because there's a long road to getting from 0 to 10k a month. But the key thing I want you to understand is that this is not overnight success. You're going to have to put in the work, okay? It is not going to be easy, but we can help you get to that level. And it's really easy when you know what you're doing. So just to answer the question, yes, you can make 10k a month doing Airbnb. You can make 10k a month doing HMOs. It is really easy and easy to scale, only when you know what you're doing and how to do it. But it is not going to be overnight success. Don't think you're going to get into this and straight away you're going to be a millionaire. So the key things that you're going to take away from this webinar is this. Number one, landlords. How to get them to choose you over someone else to get their property. Number two, how do you assess a property and make sure it's going to give you the return that you want based on the location that it's in? Number three, what kind of mindset does it take for you to get to 10k a month? And number four is easy. It's our cheat code, the cheat code that we use to get us to that level. So let's get into this. Landlords. Landlords, they are the gatekeepers. They're stopping you from getting into a position where you could be making this kind of money. And the question you have to ask yourself is, why aren't those landlords doing it themselves? And the answer is so easy. They don't know how to. And the ones that try and do it, mess it up. And the ones that don't take the coaching as well, sometimes they mess it up, but sometimes they do actually make it work. Now, the thing with a landlord is that their actual mortgage is going to be considerably lower, so they've got a better opportunity of making it work. But you'll be surprised how many properties we take over that's already been on Airbnb, that's gone terribly wrong, and we've taken over via a student or ourselves and made it work, and they can't understand how we've been able to do it. And it's really simple, and we're going to discuss this in this webinar. So as I said, approaching landlords, you need to know what you are doing. Don't think for one split second you can go to a landlord with no experience and start talking to them. They're going to say, okay, take my keys. It's not going to happen. I promise you. There was a lady that I was talking to, lovely lady. She wasn't on the course, but I kept in contact with her, and she was going from landlord to landlord to landlord to landlord non-stop. She was not getting a property. She was viewing about 5 to 6 properties a day. And I kept saying to her, why are you doing this? Like, you're doing this all wrong. She says, but I think I can do it. And I actually was rooting for her. So I said to her, okay, I gave her a little bit of tips as well, and I just kind of listened to her and let her go on with it. But then it got to a point where she was asking me too many questions, and I was saying to her, look, this is what we train our students to do. You haven't taken any training and you're trying to get a property. The problem she's going to face is this. When she gets the property, if she gets one, bearing in mind, up until now, she still hasn't had one. If she actually gets a property, she has to know what she's doing and have the strategies to make it work. Guys, you have to listen to me. It is not a get rich quick scheme. You have to put time and effort into this to make it work, and it is all on you. So if you're getting support and mentoring, perfect. But you need to listen to your coaching, understand the process, and execute it. And this is important. So landlords, as I said, you need to know what you're talking about. You need to go to these landlords and be prepared. Don't go to landlords with yourself and think, okay, yeah, I look smart and we're going to go for it. Because they're probably going to look at you and say, no, thank you. I like to be honest with landlords at the beginning. But some people, they'll actually, just go to the viewing, see what they have to offer, then propose after that, this is what I want to do, and really push. This is the thing, guys. However way you want to do it, whatever you feel you're comfortable with, may or may not work for you. I'll give you an example. I'm very honest from the beginning. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm offering you. Let me see it. It looks like this, but I can make it look like this. And I show them what I'm going to do because I have experience and I can show them what I've done in the past. And by them seeing that, they think, This guy knows what he's doing. I want to use you, but you're not in that position because this is the first time you're doing it. So you don't have that leverage that I have. So you need to be in a position where you can use that leverage to your advantage. And these are the things that you need to do when you want to get an Airbnb. So how do you get that without having a property? And it's simple. Go to the landlord, be positive, be confident, know what you're talking about, have an idea of the look you want to have that property. So when you're in the property, you can tell him, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to make this look like this, I'm going to make that look like that. Let me give you another example. There was a property that I went to see and I spoke to the landlord. And I said to the landlord, this is a nice flat, but I want to change this, I want to paint this, I want to change the flooring, I want to change the spotlights, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to take this here, I want to rearrange this whole property. I'm going to give this property back to you in a better condition that you've given it to me. Of course he gave me the keys. It was a no-brainer for him. He gave me the keys, I got the work done, we started going, we rented out an Airbnb, and he's never looked back ever since. This is the thing that you have to understand. Why is the landlord going to use you? It's simple, because I know what I'm doing and I can see what you need to do, and you need to give me the opportunity to do it so I can transform this home and make it a 5-star looking venue. Landlords like these things. What is your creative idea? If you're creative, create it in the right way that's going to make that person choose you over anybody else. Now, bear in mind, yes, what I just said to you sounds really good and it does work. But remember, I have experience. I speak to landlords all the time and agents. So when I'm presenting myself to them, they're going to listen to me and I can show them the proof. But remember, you don't have the proof. So you have to go with even more confidence and more belief in yourself that this is going to work and you know what you're doing. So what we tell our students of you when they're going to see properties is be prepared. Bring a folder, present yourself in the best possible way. Show them your ideas, show them the kind of furniture you want to buy, show them your designs of how you're going to manipulate the property in a certain way to give it the feeling that you want to give it. Let them visually see what you're going to transform their home into. These are things that are very important. You need to make sure that, when you present yourself properly, we teach our students to do this and we show them what to do and what they want to see. And be warned, once the landlord sees it, they're gonna wanna choose you. Yeah, so be prepared at that time to be able to actually follow through on your promise. It's important to let the landlord know you know what you're doing and you have a mentor that is directing you, supporting you, helping you. These things are key. You need to make sure you have this in your back pocket, because when they ask you questions, who are you diverting them to? How did you learn how to do this? Oh, I'm not sure. Who's backing you? Can you get me a letter written from that person confirming that you know what you're doing? How do I know you're going to make this work? How do I know you're going to pay your rent on time? These are all the questions they're going to ask. You need to make sure you can answer all those questions, and there's going to be more. So when you're talking to landlords, make sure you know what you're saying and please learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's going to happen. Just learn from them. So the next time it comes around, be more prepared. Preparation is the only thing I can give you on this when it comes to talking to landlords, because you have to prepare yourself. But more importantly, prepare for that person to say no, and you need to have all the reasons why that person can turn out no into a yes. And believe me, there's going to be more no's than yeses. We need to transform that, because that would change to so many yeses. You'll be saying to yourself, look, this is too much, but maybe my friend can take over, which is what happens with us. Key thing I'm going to tell you about landlords, please dress appropriately. Don't go there wearing tracksuits and hats and, I don't know, mini skirts. Be appropriate, look professional, impress them. Let them see you, bring your best outfit, because they need to trust you are presentable enough, got the wit, got everything that they need so they could be comfortable giving you their keys. This is key. You'll be surprised of how many people go to viewings and they're just not dressed appropriately. I've seen them and I'm like, what is this guy doing? He hasn't got a chance. Another thing that these landlords want to see is track records. They want to know, are you working? Are you self-employed? Do you have pay slips? How much money is in your bank? Are you allowed to let these properties out? They may ask about credits as well. Do you have good credit? Do you have bad credit? These things do come up. I'm just making you aware. But we have a way to get around them, all those things. And that's why our students are with us, are able to get their Airbnbs within days from working with us. I always say this, the landlords are the hardest things to get through to when you want to actually get an Airbnb. And it is not easy, but if you persevere and keep going, you will get there in the end. There are shortcuts that we do with our students, and I'm going to discuss that later on. But for now, I just want you to understand that this is the work and this is the effort that is required for you to get your Airbnb in in your name if we don't take our shortcut. So I'm going to tell you a funny story about a student. She joined us in January and she spent 6 months going from door to door to door to door to landlords non-stop. She was relentless. She was determined to get her property. She followed a certain script that we gave her and we followed a certain guideline, and in the end she was able to get that property. But she got property number 1. She now has over 6 properties from that same landlord, because once she was able to get that first contract and show that she was honest, she was on point with her rent, and she actually followed through, he said, you know what, I've got this, that and a third. And she got them all by herself. Sometimes it's just that one win. That one win opens up the doors for everything else. So I give you that as a measure of encouragement, because yes, you can do it. Yes, we have helped students do it. And that one person allowed her to grow significantly. So the next thing I want to talk about is the property and the location. Location, 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 it matters. If you've got a property in Timbuktu, don't be thinking you're going to be making £10 million a month. It's not going to happen. Having a property in the right location is key. When I was doing my Airbnb in Marbella, I had a property that was in the heart of Marbella. It was a 6-bedroom mansion, beautiful looking property. Now, that property was generating £20,000 a week. And we was getting bookings left, right and center. We was getting owners like billionaires like going to this villa. It had a swimming pool, a beautiful view, looking over the sea. It was amazing. Underground gym. It had like a car park there. It had a cinema room. It was just amazing. Anyway, the reason why I was able to get 20K a week is because the property was in a location that was desirable and was able to generate a kind of money. But here's the thing they don't tell you. You can only make that money during the season. In the winter, you're not making 20K a week. So therefore, we had to make all the money we could possibly make in that first 5-6 months. And then once the season went down, we then had to lower our prices and break even. The reality is, the reason why that property did so well was genuinely because of the location. Central London is perfect because the location is prime. Anywhere that has prime location works, but also the outskirts work as well. So I was talking to a student the other day and they said to me, oh, I want to be in London. I said, well, look, to be honest with you, yes, Central London is good, but anywhere in London works. Because I've got students in Essex that are fully booked and they're taking home £3-4 grand a month, depending on the season. Now, this can be you if you've got a property in the right location and the rent makes sense. Making sure you're getting the right rent is important, because landlords do put up the rent a little bit because they know you want to do an Airbnb and they want a piece of the pie. Be warned, that does happen. So when we look into location, we've got to look at transport links, we've got to look at bars, hotels, restaurants, clubs, pubs, everything you can think of, cinemas, ponds, nature reserves, parks, theme parks, I don't know, whatever. Whatever that location has to offer, look into it, because that is the reason why people are going to go to you and stay at your property. Now, as I said before, there's a student that had a property in Essex and he said to me, are you sure actually this is going to work? I said, trust me, this is going to work, because we ran the numbers. When you start getting going, straight away, bookings, booked up for the month within the first 2 weeks. He couldn't believe it. And I said to him, what you have to understand is people need Airbnbs. They don't want to stay in hotels where they can't cook and they can't wash their clothes and they can't do anything. They want their own space. They want a sofa. They want a TV. They want to be able to relax. Hotels is a box room. Could you imagine staying in a box room for 3 weeks? You go crazy. But with an Airbnb, you've got a front room, you've got a bedroom, you can pop out, you might have a balcony, who knows? Whatever your Airbnb has to offer, you want to basically let them know that this is why you want to stay here. So the facilities and the location, major important. What goes on around the Airbnb, also important. This is how you get to a point where you could be making 10K a month. But I haven't really told you yet how that's going to be you. I'm going to discuss that with you later. Just stay tuned. And when you're getting an Airbnb, you need to run the numbers. Do the numbers make sense? Now you're probably saying, well, how do I do that? So we teach our students how to run their own numbers, how to analyze those deals to make sure they're going to get the return that they're looking for. And then what we show them how to do is go above those numbers and above the occupancy rate so it can work for them. I'll give you another example. The students that I mentioned that took their property in Essex, the occupancy rate was something like 70%. But didn't I just tell you that 100% booked up now for the whole month in their first month? This is possible. And the reason why it's possible is because there's things that we do to make the property look a certain way to get to a level where they're able to get those kind of bookings and people choose their property over someone else's. Once again, it's easy to get an Airbnb, but you've got to do it properly, set it up properly, right location, look in the area to see what it has to offer, and more importantly, you've got to be a good host. So when you're looking at Airbnb, yes, the location matters. Yes, the numbers, you've got to run the numbers, because look, if the numbers don't make sense, it's not going to work. So get an idea of what those numbers look like. And when you know that, when you're doing it, push the boundary. Yeah, you've got to push the boundary, because you've got to make your property stand out from everyone else's. That brings me on to my next point. How does your property look? What effort have you put into your property? What designs have you put into your property? Look, this is not going to work unless you have the property look in a certain way. And you need to understand what that looks like. And this is why we coach our students to make their properties look a specific way so they can get the results that we want them to get. And the only way they're going to get those results is if they do these things in the right way. Appearance matters. Trust me, I know. Don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, this Airbnb is going to be fine. It looks all right. It's cool. So that brings me on to one of my students. He is one of my most successful students. He has killed it in the game. But I will never forget when he got his Airbnb and I went down there. Bearing in mind, I like to go and see my students' Airbnbs to make sure, it looks a certain way. So I went down there and I walked in there and I said, what is going on here? I said, listen, Shaq, we've got to change this, we've got to change that, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, get rid of this, get rid of that, this looks terrible, that looks terrible. Shaq, we have to redo this whole property. He was looking at me like, how's this going to work? Like, are you sure? I said, trust me, we've got to renovate it. We've got to make it look totally different, because how it's looking now, it won't work. And what was funny about his one, there was another person that was doing the Airbnb in his property before, and I found it. And I said, look, this is how it looked. This is what we need to do to make it work. And that person was failing, which is why he got the deal. Anyway, long story short, he done all the things that we told him to do. So I was looking for his Airbnb and I was going online, checking it, couldn't find it. I was on the phone to say, Shaq, like, where's your Airbnb? He goes, it's there. I was like, no, I can't find it, Shaq. He goes, it's there. Shaq, I'm telling you, I cannot find it. Where is it? He sent it to me and I said, Shaq, is that your Airbnb? He's like, yeah. I couldn't believe what he had done to it. I couldn't believe it. You know when someone follows the script, like he literally followed it step by step. I could not believe how it looked. That is the reason why he's been booked up for the last 6 months, fully booked. You cannot find his Airbnb online because he's been fully booked for the whole 6 months. It's because we showed him how to structure the property in a certain way for it to actually work. It was so good to a point that I didn't even recognize the property when I saw it online. That's how good it was. That's what it takes to make your Airbnb successful. But you got the Airbnb, it's all running, it's all going fine, which is perfect. But what strategy are you using to make it work? Now, other students, I can mention so many, they follow the strategy because the strategy is important. You have to make sure that you're following this guideline and this strategy perfectly. And you may need to change the strategy sometimes to tweak it to make it better for you. We have these strategies for one reason only. You need reviews. Nobody is going to stay in your property and book it up if they can't see someone else has been in there, liked it, and it is exactly as you described it in your pictures. If it's not like that, they're going to be upset and they're going to give you bad reviews. People need to know that they are not the guinea pig. Nobody wants to be the guinea pig. So you need to make sure that they have reassurance. Their reassurance comes from reviews. When I book Airbnbs, the first thing I do is read a review because I want to see what's going on in the property and how it looks. It gives me an idea of what I'm getting myself into. Your mindset is key when you're getting into this. Once again, this is not going to be overnight success. You're not going to put in £10 and make £100 a day and live your best life. I said it before and I'm saying it again because I need to get it through to you. You're going to have to put the work in, and your mindset is what makes it work. Nothing else. I've had students that had great mindsets. I'm like, wow, you're going to smash it. So I want to talk to you about a student called Jordan. Now, Jordan was amazing. His mindset was something else. Jordan done all his coaching, asked questions, done all the right things that he needed to do. And when he got his Airbnb, like he stayed in there, he made it look amazing. Like his mindset was crazy. And I'll never forget this. He was like, oh, Ash, man, I don't know if my Airbnb is working. So I said, oh, like, why'd you say that? Like, what's going on? He goes, oh, yeah, I'm making about £2,000 a month. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm doing £2,000 a month, but is it enough? I'm like, well, that's 24 grand a year, mate. It's like, yeah, but I was like, but Jordan, you paid 5K for your property. Like, you're killing it. What are you talking about? He goes, oh, so that's good, yeah? He goes, yeah, Jordan, you've done really well. Like, keep going. Mindset. His mindset was like, is this enough? Can I do more? Can I make more? What more can I do? Like, that's how he's thinking. The next thing for Jordan was to get another property. But the thing is this, your mindset is what makes it work. And his mindset was, I'm making 2K, but can I make more? How can I make more? What do I need to do? This brings me on to the next part. You need to apply yourself. A lot of people think, I've got a mentor, they're gonna do it for me, and I'm gonna sit back and relax. No, you've got to do it. This is your property. This is your investment. This is your money. Put in the work, put in the time, put in the effort. Don't hold back and do not slack. If you have a mentor, use mentoring properly. You want to use mentoring properly because you need to be asking your mentor questions and staying in communication with him. Don't expect your mentor to chase you. You need to be in touch with your mentor and chasing him. This is key if you're getting into Airbnb or HMO. Staying in communication, having sessions, and making sure that you're getting good value for money out of your Airbnb. This is why Jordan is so successful. This is why he's doing so well, because he communicates with me and we talk and we laugh and we joke, but more importantly, he's making money. And this is the reason why. Your mindset and how you go into this is important. It is your mindset that will actually help you fail. And I've seen people fail in Airbnb or even HMOs because of their mindset. Give an example. There was a guy that I knew, not a student of mine. His HMO was going wrong. His HMO was failing. I said, why is this failing? I don't understand. And he was telling me, I said, why haven't you fixed this? Why haven't you fixed that? And why did you leave this? That cost £10. That cost £20. It cost £30. What you had to do is fix these little things, you would have been all right. But he wasn't thinking that way. He was just thinking about grabbing as much money as he could grab and running away with it, thinking, oh, they will sort it out themselves. It doesn't work that way. Any problem that you have, fix them straight away. Do not leave them, because if you leave them, it could come back to bite you later on. So now it's time for the cheat code. So look, I'm going to be really honest with you. Approaching landlords to get a property is not easy. Yes, it can be done and people do it, but it takes time. Me personally, I don't like to wait too long. I like to get in there straight away. That's why our students that join us are able to get their properties quickly. I mean, I'm talking within weeks, if not days. And the reason is because of how we work, the relationship that we have with agents and estate agents. We're able to get you in there quick and put you in positions where you can actually start making money and actually start trading. This is key. This is one of our cheat codes. The other cheat code we have is styling. We support and help you with styling. We go through this process with you. We make sure you've done it up in the right way. If you live within the M25, a member of our team or even myself will go to the property with you and actually go through these things with you. This is important because the look is important. This is a cheat code. Remember I mentioned my student Shaq. Remember I said what happened with him? Remember when I said we went down and what we did and how we changed it around and look at his property now, booked up, doing well. That is the cheat code. These are the things that you guys need to understand. There's a way you do this. If you don't do it the right way, you will not be successful. Now, if you've got time to do 5, 6, 7, 8 meetings a day, going here, there and everywhere, and you want to do that to get a property, then go for it. Because when you go for an agent or deal sourcer, you have to pay a sourcing fee, regardless of whatever, because they've gone through that process and they've helped you get that property without you having to do that. So you have to pay for it. Bear that in mind when you get involved in rent to rent. Another thing I want to mention is management companies. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't love management companies, but if you're an individual that's at work and you don't really want to manage it yourself, then you need to use a management company. But we personally want you to manage the property yourself, because not only will you get a better return, you get the best experience, plus it's easy to do if you have us teaching you how to do it, because it's really simple if you know how to do it properly. And it's important that you do it properly, because once you do it properly, you can grow, and then you can start looking into other things that's going to help you make more money within the industry. This is a big part of the cheat code that you need to know. How do I get 10K a month? Did you notice I didn't tell you? This is how you do it. Remember when I said about the location and the numbers? You need to make sure the location is perfect. You need to make sure the numbers make sense. Now, you can get one property that can generate 10K, but remember you've got bills. So ideally speaking, you're probably looking at an average of say 2 to maybe 5K a month of profit per property that you get. Some properties can do more depending on the location, like 7K and 8K. This is very, very realistic. But the thing is this, how do you get to 10K? It's really simple. Double up. Get one, wait, get another one, wait, get another one. Let me explain that in more detail. Let's imagine, hypothetically speaking, I get a property and it only makes 2K a month. Let's imagine that property cost me 6 grand. Now, I'm going to show you how you can make 10K a month with that 2K profit within 1 year. Check this out. 2K profit. Great. So in 3 months, that's 6 grand. Now I've got 2 properties because I'm going to use the profit from this 6 to get another one. So now those 2 properties are now making me 4K a month. Perfect. 2 months later, I'm gonna get another property because I've got 8K. Boom. So now my 4K a month is now 8K a month. So 1 more month, make 8 grand, get another property. You do the maths. It is that simple. All that was within 1 year, okay? That is how you can get to 10K a month. But this is the thing, Rome wasn't built in a day, it takes time. And you need to take time in understanding how to do it, have the right coach, the right mentor guiding you so you can be successful. This isn't not gonna be easy, but then again, it is easy when you have a mentor. But as long as you're willing to put in the time and the effort, it will work for you. Our job is to support you. Your job is to take on the support and actually put it into action. So whether you just wanna get an understanding of how this works for future reference, or whether you wanna get into management, or whether you wanna get into Airbnb, or whether you wanna become a deal sourcer, wherever it may be, we can definitely support you. Now, thank you for watching this webinar. I hope you found it useful. If any questions you have, regardless of something that we spoke about that you wanna touch on, get in touch with us and let's have a conversation. I'm sure there's something that you wanna ask a question on, because one thing I can guarantee you, everybody always asks questions, but we have the answers. So look, whatever you do moving forward, we wish you the best of luck. If you booked a meeting with us, stay tuned because we'll speak to you soon. If you haven't, book a meeting down below, speak to one of our reps or maybe myself, and let's see how we can help you get involved in rent to rep.